Expand your vocabulary with our core 2,000 words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Korean ebook before it's gone.
Hi everyone, I'm Jae-hui. In this video, we'll be talking about top 25 Korean phrases. Okay, let's see what we have first. 안녕하세요. Hello. This is the greeting that you can use for the formal situation. When you meet someone for the first time, you can say 안녕하세요, 만나서 반갑습니다, which means hello, it's nice to meet you. Or with your friend, you can just say 안녕 without 하세요, just to say hello to your friend. 여보세요. Hello on the phone. You have to use a different phrase when you want to say hello on the phone. So say 띠리리리링 안녕 안녕하세요. 띠리리리리 여보세요. 여보세요. That's so you cannot say 안녕하세요 when you're talking on the phone. It sounds weird. 오랜만이에요. Long time no see. When you're just shopping in the department store and you see someone you haven't met for a long time, you can just say 오랜만이에요 to mean long time no see. Or with friend, you can say 오랜만이야. Long time no see. 안녕히 주무세요. Good night. Actually, it literally means please sleep well. So you can use this phrase only with someone who is living together with you, like your parents. So to your parents, 안녕히 주무세요. So at night, you can say 안녕히 주무세요. Then your parents should be, and then you'll be 잘 자. Good night. So 잘 자 is informal way to say good night. So to your wife, to your husband, brother, or sister, you can just say 잘 자, and then you can just go back to sleep. 안녕히 계세요. Goodbye. There are two ways to say goodbye. This one is the one that you can use when you leave. Let's say you are invited to someone's house. You had a really great time. You leave. In that case, you can say 안녕히 계세요. 안녕히 가세요. Goodbye. Let's say you are the host of the party. You invited everyone to your home, had a really great time, and then everyone is leaving now. You want to say 안녕히 가세요 because your stay, everyone else is leaving. For example, you can say 안녕히 가세요. 와주셔서 감사합니다, which means goodbye, thank you for coming. 만나서 반가워요. Nice to meet you. When you meet someone for the first time, you can say 안녕하세요, then say 만나서 반가워요. Or if someone is younger than you, you can just say 만나서 반가워 in informal way. So for those who just watched the video of me for the first time, let me say 만나서 반가워요. 모르겠어요. I do not know. Let's say on the street, you're in Seoul, someone asks you something in Korean, you don't know. You have no idea what he's talking about. Then you can just simply say 모르겠어요. I do not know. In informal way, 모르겠어. 감사합니다. Thank you. Let's say you got a gift and you can say 선물 감사합니다. Thank you for the gift. So you can just simply say 감사합니다 or the noun plus 감사합니다 to mean thank you for something. 고맙습니다. Thank you. You can say 감사합니다 or 고맙습니다 to say thank you, but if you want to make it sound more friendly, you can say 고맙습니다. 선물 고맙습니다. Thank you for the gift. 초대 감사합니다. Thank you for the invitation. 잠깐만 기다려주세요. Wait a moment, please. Let's say you're late and you see your boss is about to leave. 잠깐만 기다려주세요. 죄송합니다. Sorry. 죄송합니다. 죄송합니다. 미안합니다. Sorry. Don't use this when you make a big mistake, but if it is not big, then you can just say 미안합니다. That's enough. So when you bump into someone on the street, then you can say this. 미안합니다. Because it's not a big mistake. 알겠습니다. I understand. So let's say you made a huge mistake at your company and your boss will be like, 너 지금 뭐 하는 거야? You can say, after listening to everything, you can say, 알겠습니다. I understand. 선생님 질문 있어요. 선생님 이름이 뭐예요? 알겠습니다. 잘 다녀오세요. Have a good journey. You can say that to those who are going to take a big trip, but usually we also use that to a father who is about to go to work and we just say 잘 다녀오세요. 좋은 하루 되세요. Have a nice day. 잘 다녀오세요 literally means please go out and come back safely. So you can say only when someone is leaving and you are staying in and waiting for that person. 이름이 뭐예요? What's your name? 이름이 뭐예요? 이름이 뭐예요? 재휘예요. 아, 네. 이름이 뭐예요? 재휘입니다. 아, 알겠습니다. 이름이 뭐예요? What's your name? 제 이름은 입니다. My name is My name is 제 이름은 이재휘입니다. My name is 이재휘. 안녕. 어서 오세요. Welcome. So you got into the store and you hear 어서 오세요 or 어서 오세요 or you got a guest coming into your place. You can say 어서 오세요. Welcome. 실례합니다. Excuse me. You have to catch your bus and you have to go through the crowd. Then you have to say 실례합니다. 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 When you want to ask a question, you can also say 실례합니다. Then your question. 잘 먹겠습니다. I will eat well. Thank you for the meal. You're at the restaurant, you got a lot of food, and you're about to eat. Before you eat, you have to say 잘 먹겠습니다. Even if you're alone, you have to say 잘 먹겠습니다. 아, 잘 먹겠습니다. 잘 먹었습니다. I ate well. Thank you for the meal. 잘 먹었습니다. When you leave a restaurant, you can say 잘 먹었습니다 to the staff to say thank you for the meal. 맛있게 드세요. Bon appetit. Let's say this is the food that I made with seaweed, huge seaweed. 오, 맛있게 드세요. 맛있게 드세요. 잘 먹겠습니다. I'm hungry. 이거 얼마예요? How much is this? So you go to shopping, you found the item you really want to have, and then you can say 이거 얼마예요? 저거 얼마예요? 그거 얼마예요? Then you get the price, but don't accept that. You have to try the discount. Say 깎아주세요 to get your discount. That's all top 25 Korean phrases. Thank you for watching it and please make sure to subscribe. 좋은 하루 보내세요. Have a nice day. 아, 잘 먹겠습니다. 이거 재미를 또. Hi everyone, I'm Jae-hee. In this video, you'll learn about top 25 Korean verbs. Let's get started. 가다, to go. So when you are going to somewhere, you can just say something something에 가다. So you're with your Korean friends and now you want to go to a club. You can say 클럽에 가고 싶어. 클럽에 가자. 클럽에 갈까? 가지다, to have. So in Korean drama, like there's a girl who wanna get married with a rich guy and she will say 저 남자 갖고 싶어. I wanna have the guy. 나오다, to come out. You are moving out of the place, you can just say 나오다. 놀다, to play. Let's say you wanna hang out with your friend is at home sleeping. You just call him and just say 나와, 놀자. That means like to come out and hang out with me. 놓다, to put. So when you just put something, you can just say 놓다. 마우스를 놓다. 아이패드를 놓다. 대답하다, to answer. You're in a classroom and you ask a very difficult question to your teacher. He doesn't answer, then you say 대답해 주세요, please. You can use it only to mean to answer a question. 돕다, to help. You need some help in Korean. Then you can say 도와주세요. And the other person say 도와드릴게요. Which means, I'll help you. So usually we say 도와주다 a little bit more, which really means to give a help. 듣다, to hear, to listen. So 음악을 듣다, ums. I'm listening to KoreanClass101.com podcast. 마시다, to drink. You can use this verb for any types of drinks. So water or soju, 맥주, any types of. So we also use the verb 먹다 to talk about beverage too. So you can use 마시다 or 먹다. That's how we drink soju. 만나다, to meet. So even if you meet someone for the first time, second time, third time, you can say 만나다. You meet someone first time, 만나서 반가워요. Second time, 만나서 반가워요. Third time, 만나서 반가워요. Every time you can use it. 만나서 반가워요. 말하다, to say, to speak. 마이크에 말하다. 음시. 만나서 반가워요. 이름이 뭐예요? 먹다, to eat. 잘 먹겠습니다. 먹다. 잘 먹었습니다. You can use it to mean to drink. So you can say 물을 먹다 too. 모르다, to not know. 모르겠어요. I don't know. You can also say 모르겠어요. I don't understand. 잘 모르겠어요. 받다, to receive. 선물을 받겠습니다. 선물. 보다, to try. For example, you can say 춤을 춰보다. 보다, to see. So you see something like you watch TV, you see a movie, you see, your loved one, you can always use this one verb, 보다. So 영화를 보다, 텔레비전을 보다, 드라마를 보다, 콘서트를 보다. All with the verb 보다. I'll watch some drama then. 사용하다, to use. For any type of tools, you can use this verb and also with a language. For example, 한국어를 사용하다. And when you dance, you can say 몸을 사용하다. 아니다, to not be. Anything like no, not, you can just use this. You don't like this food? You can say 아니야. You don't like it. 알다, to know. Someone is talking about things that you know, boring. You can say 알아. I know. Your parents are talking about things that you have to do. You can say 알아요. I know. 않다, to not do. You can use this with any types of verbs. For example, 먹지 않다, 보지 않다, 가지 않다, 춤추지 않다. 오다, to come. 가다 was to go. 오다 is for to come. So in the morning, 학교에 가다. But in the afternoon, 집에 오다. 있다, to be. This verb is the magic word because it can mean there is, to be, using the same word. So simply just say the noun for the object and say 있다. 사람이 있다, 나무가 있다, 학교가 있다, 집이 있다. 좋아하다, to like. So you can just put any type of object and say 좋아하다. For example, 김치를 좋아하다, 밥을 좋아하다, 춤을 좋아하다. If you want to date with someone, then you can just start with this as the first question. 뭘 좋아해? What do you like? 주다, to give. 선물을 받다, and next day, 선물을 주다. So when someone is moving in and you are invited to the home party, you have to bring a pack of toilet papers. 두루마기 휴지를 주다. For those who just moved in. 하다, to do. In Korean, we have a lot of verbs with this word inside. 하다. For example, 노래하다, 청소하다, 공부하다. Okay, that's all top 25 Korean verbs that we have. And thank you for watching. And please make sure to subscribe. I'll see you next time. 감사합니다. Bye, guys. Hi everyone, I'm Jae-hui. In this video, we'll be talking about top 25 Korean nouns. Okay, let's see what we have first. 것, a thing or an object. So when you're doing some shopping, you like something that you like, that you don't like, then you can say 저는 이것이 좋아요, but 저는 저것이 싫어요. I don't like this, I don't like that. 수, way, method, number. It has three different meaning, method, way, numbers. For example, 사람 수가 많이 있다. In that case, 수 means number. And if you're in a big trouble and you don't know what to do, you can also say 수가 없다. 나, I. So this is the informal way to say I as a pronoun. So you can say 나는 나야. I myself. 나는 김치가 좋아. 나는 한국이 좋아. 나는 한국 사람이 좋아. Can be a good examples. But when you talk with someone older than you, you cannot say 나. Instead, you have to say 저, which is formal version to say I. 사람, person. When you talk about a person, don't use 것 because 것 is for a thing. So you cannot say 이것이 좋아 when you talk about someone you love. Instead, you can say 이 사람이 좋아. 사람 means person. 우리, we, or our. It literally means our or we, but even if it's only about myself, talking about my country, then I'll say 우리나라, meaning our country. Even though you are not Korean, I'll just say our country, 우리나라, when talking about Korea. Even with your friend, you can say 우리 가족, literally meaning our family, even though you want to mean my family. The way to improve your Korean first is to use 우리 more often. 그, he, that. We usually don't use 그 or he, 그녀, she when we make sentences because it doesn't sound natural to use a specific pronoun about the person. So when you hear 그, you can just think that it's about that person, 거, thing. This is a little bit casual way to say 것, which also means thing. 그거 주세요. 저거 주세요. 이거 싫어요. 저거 좋아요. When you talk with your friend, you just use 거, not 것. 년, ear. So when you talk about ear in Korean, you have to use this noun after numbers. For example, 2001년, the year of 2001. You cannot simply say 2001. So with the word you can say 저는 3년 전에 서울에 왔습니다, which means I came to Seoul 3 years ago. 한, one, or single. So when you want to talk about one something, like one place, one person, you can use this word with the other noun. For example, 한 사람, one person, 한 곳, a place. 말, words. When you talk about Korean, you can say 한국어, but also you can say 한국말, which literally means Korean words. So when you want to say I learn Korean, you can say both 한국어를 공부합니다 and 한국말을 공부합니다. And there's another word meaning horse with the same pronunciation, so make sure you understand it correctly. 일, work. So when Korean people want to ask you what is your job or what do you do, they will say 무슨 일 하세요? So here, 일 was used to mean work. And also Korean people have a lot of work. Usually they work like more than 10 hours a day. They also have a lot of work to do. So in the case, I can say 저도 일이 많이 있어요. 씨, honorific suffix to mean Mr., Miss, Mrs. So let's say you want to call someone who is not your friend but whom you know their name. In that case, you can simply say their name and put 씨. But make sure that you don't put family name there like you do in English. You have to put their first name. So my family name is 이. So if you just call me 이씨 using my family name and that honorific suffix, it sounds rude. So don't do that. You can just call me 재휘씨 using my first name instead of family name. We have another suffix 님, which is more formal than 씨. So you can use it when you call your teacher, like saying 선생님, 일, day. It has the same pronunciation of the word meaning work. Usually you can use it when you read the date. For example, you can say 7월 2일 to mean July 2nd. Or you can also find this word in the word like 내일, meaning tomorrow, and say 내일이 좋아요, which means tomorrow is good. 사회, society. Korean people talk a lot about politics, and in that case, we use 사회 a lot. So if someone is critical about the situation going around Korean society, he might say 한국 사회에는 문제가 많이 있다. Or someone would say 한국 사회는 살기 좋다. 그것, that thing. So it has two words that we learned earlier. 그, meaning that, 것, meaning thing. So for example, when you don't know how to read something in Korean, you can just say 그것 어떻게 읽어요? 집, house, home. So if you're in Korea, you might hear some phrases like 우리 집에 놀러 와. So 집 literally means house, home. So even though you want to say my home, make sure to use the pronoun 우리 and say 우리 집. 문제, problem. For example, like when you take a test and the questions are so difficult, you can say 문제가 너무 어려워. 저, that. You can use this pronoun when you talk about something away from you. So when you do shopping and the item you want to have is far away from you, then you can say 저거, 속, inside. So usually you can use it when you talk about something inside of something. For example, 가방 속에 뭐가 있어요? Meaning what's inside your bag. And there's another word meaning inside, which is 안, to mean the same. 대, place. For formal situation, we use 곳, but for casual, like informal, we use 대. For example, 먹을 때, place to eat. 경우, case. To make you look more smart, you can use this word. For example, 이 경우, this case, 저 경우, that case. 중, center. So you can use this word when you want to say in the middle of something. For example, you can say 한국 음식 중에 뭐가 가장 좋아요? Which literally means in the middle of Korean food, which one do you like the most? So usually it's used with a group of something. 자신, oneself. Unlike the English word oneself, like we usually use it when we give the advice. For example, 너 자신을 알라, which means you should know yourself. Usually we also use this word to mean confidence and say 자신이 있다. One, Korean one. In Korean, you have to say won every time when you talk about money. For example, 2만 원, 2천 원. So when you want to exchange US dollar to won, you can just simply say 달러를 원으로 바꿔주세요. 사랑, love. In Korea, we usually try to be a little bit indirect when talking about love. So we usually use the phrase something like 사랑하는 사람, which means people who I love. So with the one, you can say 사랑해, I love you, or 사랑합니다, I love you formally. Okay, that's all top 25 Korean nouns that we have in this video. Make sure to subscribe. I'll see you next time. 다음 시간 뵙겠습니다. 안녕히 계세요. 예. Hi everyone, I'm Jae-hui. In this video, we have top 25 Korean adjectives. 조용하다, quiet. So you can say 이 방은 조용하다. This room is quiet. So if someone is making a lot of sounds like I'm doing now, you can say 조용히 해, be quiet. 같다, same. So for example, if your eye vision is the same, you can say 이쪽 눈 시력과 이쪽 눈 시력은 같다. 시끄럽다, loud, noisy. So if your neighbor is making a lot of sounds, you can just go there and boom, 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 hit the door and say 시끄러. It's too noisy. Or 이 음악은 너무 시끄럽다. This music is so noisy. Well, for example, when you're on a bus and people just keep talking, then you can say that. 이 버스는 너무 시끄러워. This bus is so noisy. 귀엽다, cute, cute. In Korea, we have something like 뿌잉 뿌잉. So if you find someone who is very cute, you can just say, 정말 귀여워요. You're so cute. 다르다, different. And when you're fighting with your friend in Korean, sometimes you might want to say that 나는 너와 달라, which means I'm different from you. 크다, big, large. Usually we use 크다 when talking about the size. For example, 방이 크다. Wow, this room is big. But also we use it when we talk about the height. For example, 그 사람은 키가 크다. That person is tall. But it literally means that person's height is big. 많다, many. So if you just put this after noun, that means that there are many of something. For example, you can say 우리 집에는 개가 많다, which means there are many dogs in my house. 좋다, good. When you love someone, you can use the verb something like 사랑하다, but it sounds too direct. So Korean people usually use 좋아하다 to mean love too, even though it literally means to like. You can use 좋다 to mean good in general, like for example, 저는 단 음식이 좋아요. I like sweet food. 뭐가 좋아요? What do you like? 행복하다, happy. So this adjective have the noun 행복, which means happiness. So you can say something like 저는 행복한 사람이 되고 싶어요, which means I want to be a happy person. About me, I think I can say 매운 음식은 저를 행복하게 합니다, which means spice food makes me happy. 기쁘다, glad. So I want to say that 여러분이 이 비디오 레슨을 보고 있어서 저도 기뻐요, which means I'm glad that you're watching this video. 화나다, angry. And then I just hear some music and 1 hour later I just feel like this. So, yeah. 화가 났어요? Are you angry? Like, you know, when you see someone who looks serious, who look angry, you can just ask, 화가 났어요? 슬프다, sad. So this adjective, 슬프다, can be used with other nouns, something like 슬픈 영화, sad movie, 슬픈 드라마, sad drama, 슬픈 노래, sad song. 아프다, sick. So when you feel sick, you can simply say 몸이 아파요. 피곤하다, tired. After you work a lot, you got home, and then you can say, 피곤해, I feel tired. And when you see your friend looking tired, you can just simply ask 피곤해, or formally 피곤해요, to ask, are you tired? 배가 고프다, hungry. When I feel hungry, I feel sad, I feel angry, I feel miserable at the same time. In that case, I can say 배가 고파서 화가 납니다. I feel angry because I feel hungry. So when I feel hungry, and plus when I feel tired, plus when I feel stressful, I'll always go for spicy food, 매운 음식. And then when you want to ask someone to go out for dinner, you can just say 배고파? Are you hungry? 목이 마르다, thirsty. I feel thirsty now, actually. It literally means I have a dry throat. You feel thirsty, and you can say 목이 말라서 죽을 것 같아. I'm feeling dying because I feel thirsty. 졸리다, sleepy. 너무 많이 먹어서 졸려요. I ate a lot, so I'm sleepy. Or you can say that 졸려요, 이제 잘게요. I'm sleepy. I'm going to bed. 무섭다, scared. So when you have someone who is very strict, yelling at you all the time, you can say that 저는 그 사람이 무서워요. I'm scared of that person. If you like Korean movie, then you can find a lot of scary movies like Old Boy. The character of the movie Old Boy is the scariest character I've ever seen because he waited for 10 years to give the revenge, which is a long time. So when I was watching the movie, I was like, 짜증나다, annoyed. You might hear many Korean people say, 짜증나. It's so annoyed. 놀라다, surprised. When you're surprised, you can say, 놀랐어. I'm surprised. And then when you are surprised really a lot, then you can use the adverb 깜짝. So say, 깜짝 놀라다, which means I surprised a lot. 수줍다, shy. We have some phrases like 수줍어서 이야기를 잘 못했어요. I couldn't talk that much because I feel shy. 재미있다, interesting. 재미 means fun, 있다 means there is. So it literally means there is a fun. 지루하다, boring. The meaning is the same as 재미없다. Both 재미없다, 지루하다 mean boring. 그 영화는 정말 지루해. That movie is really boring. 헷갈리다, confused. So when you're confused, you can just say that, 헷갈려. Like you're not sure, like if A is A, if A is B, or if A is C, then you can say, 헷갈려. I'm confused. 헷갈려요. 조금 더 자세히 이야기해 주세요. I'm confused. Please tell me more about it. 멋지다, cool. So when you see something cool, you can say that, 와, 멋지다. Wow, that's cool. Or about a person, you can say that, 저 사람 멋지다. Wow, that person is cool. Okay, that's all top 25 Korean adjectives that we have for this video. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. 다음 시간에 뵙겠습니다. 안녕히 계세요. 떡볶이. Hi everyone, I'm Jae-hwi. In this video, we will see top 15 favorite words chosen by fans. 귀염둥이, darling. So for example, he might say, 귀염둥이 오늘은 뭐 했어? Which means, darling, what did you do today? When Korean people call their boy or girlfriend, they often use nicknames such as 귀염둥이, which means darling, cutie. So if you are adult, you can say that, but it's up to you. 뚝배기 불고기, clay pot 불고기. So 불고기 is grilled marinated beef, which you can find very easily in Korea. It's not spicy, it's sweet. So in that case, I can say 저는 뚝배기 불고기를 불고기 중에서 가장 좋아합니다. Which means I like the clay pot 불고기 the most among all other types of 불고기. So when it's in the hot pot, it's so like hot. So you have to be careful when you eat it because you might burn your tongue if you just eat many of the 불고기 at the same time. 마음에 들다, like. 마음에 들다, like. So 마음 means heart, and 들다 means to enter, to go into. So if you say 그 사람이 마음에 들다, that literally means that he comes into my heart. That's so lovely, right? So you can use this phrase when you want to say I like someone as a possible girlfriend or boyfriend. So you cannot say that 불고기가 마음에 들다 to mean I like 불고기 because you never want to be a girlfriend or boyfriend with 불고기. 좋아, like. So 좋아 is the verb meaning to like in general. So you can use it with anything. You can say I like kimchi, 김치가 좋아. I like you, 너가 좋아. So anything. You can just say the object that you like and say 좋아 to say I like something. So for that reason, you can find the button 좋아요 on Facebook, which means like. 먹자, let's eat. 먹자, let's eat. In Korea, you might hear this phrase a lot, like almost every day. Like people will come to your desk and say something 먹자, let's eat something. So Korean people prefer having a big group lunch instead of having it alone. So before the lunch hour, we usually ask the other person like, 김치찌개 먹자, let's eat kimchi soup. Or 김밥 먹자, let's eat seaweed rolls or something like that. Or when you have your dish on the table, you can say 먹자 and then you can start eating it. 배고파, hungry. 배고파, hungry. So 배 means stomach, 고파 is kind of feeling hungry, feeling empty. So it literally means I feel empty in my stomach. When you feel really hungry, you can simply just say 배고파. Or in formal situation, you can say 배고파요. 봄비, spring rain. 봄비, spring rain. Yeah, people actually like this a lot. Like when it's raining in spring, there'll be a lot of flower around. It's kind of making you feel more romantic. So there are also many songs about 봄비, spring rain. Like when there's spring rain, love comes to me or something like that. If you are becoming more romantic, you might want to say 봄비가 오면 연애를 하고 싶어집니다. Which means when there's a spring rain, I want to date someone. 사랑해요, I love you. 사랑해요, I love you. Practice it now so that you can use it at the right timing. So simply you can just say 사랑해요 to say I love you, or more casually 사랑해 to say I love you. 시끄러워, noisy. 시끄러워, noisy. 시끄러! So let's say you're studying at a library and someone is making some noise, and then you hear that, then you can say 시끄러워, like to yourself, saying it's noisy. 안녕하세요, hello. So this is a very common phrase to say hello for the greeting. So when you meet someone, you can simply say 안녕하세요. If you want to be a little bit more casual, you can say 안녕. 어떻게? What am I going to do? 어떻게? What am I going to do? I like this phrase a lot because, when I don't know what to do, I just simply say that a lot. When you're talking to yourself, you can say, 어떡해, 어떡하지? 어떡해, 어떡하지? What should I do? What am I going to do? 예뻐요, pretty. 예뻐요, pretty. So 예뻐요 can be used only when you talk about women, girls. And when you see someone for the first time and you feel like she is pretty, you can also say, 예뻐요, 예쁘세요, which means you're pretty, you're beautiful. And also you can talk about other clothes or object with this one, 예뻐요. 자기야, sweetie. 자기야, sweetie. So if I have to choose 귀염둥이 and 자기야, I'll go with 자기야 because 자기야 can be used in almost all the generations. It's okay to say that in public. 귀염둥이 might be a little bit, but 자기야 should be okay. 자기야 오늘 김치찌개 먹자, which means sweetie, let's have some kimchi soup. 자기야 오늘 뭐 하고 싶어? Which means sweetie, what do you want to do today? 진짜, real, really. So 진짜 is the adverb meaning real, but we use it alone to mean really. So when we hear something a little bit surprising, we say 진짜, really. Even if something is not surprising, we also say that a lot. So you just say that I went to movie theater yesterday, and I will just say 진짜, really. It doesn't mean that I don't trust you. It's just like common reaction to show that I'm interested in the topic. 배불러, I'm full. We eat a lot. I eat a lot too. So I often use that after I have a dinner. I say, 배불러. 배 means stomach. 불러 means to be full. So it literally means my stomach is full. So you can say, 배불러서 더 이상 못 걷겠어, which means I cannot work anymore because I feel full. So that's all top 15 favorite words chosen by fans. Make sure to subscribe and I will see you next time. 다음 시간에 뵙겠습니다. 안녕히 계세요. Hi everyone, I'm Jae-hui. In this video, we'll see top 10 hardest words to pronounce. 경찰청, police department. 경찰청, police department. So I think it's because CH sound, like when it's placed next to each other, I think it's going to make the word not easy to pronounce. 경찰청, 경찰청. And it also has 이응, 응 sound at the end of each character. So 경찰청. 경찰청 청창살은 왜 청창살이냐 쌀청창살이냐 something like that. 경찰청 철창살은 왜 철창살이냐 쌍철찰상이냐. But you know, like Korean people also have the hard time to read this word correctly when it's in the middle of the sentence. 교통사고가 나서 경찰청에 갔습니다. Which means I had a car accident, so I went to the police department. 계획, plan. 계획, plan. I think when it has double vowel like OE of 획, it's not heck, it has to be 획. That is the one making this word not easy to pronounce. So make sure that you say 계획, not 계획. So with the word you can say 이번 여름에는 제주도에 갈 계획입니다. Which means this summer I have a plan to go to Jeju Island. 과일, fruit. 과일, fruit. This one also has the double vowel, 과. So it's not 가. It should be 과, 과. So with the word you can say 과일을 사러 경찰청 앞에 있는 슈퍼마켓에 갔습니다. Which means I went to a supermarket in front of the police department to buy fruits. 귀여운, cute. 귀여운, cute. It should be 귀, not 기. So 귀여운. So as a slang, we sometimes say 귀여운. Instead of saying 귀, we say 기 to make it sound a little bit more cute. You know, when you talk in a formal situation, you have to make sure that you say 귀, not 기, 귀여운. And if you know the word 귀염둥이, which means darling or cutie, you can say 우리 귀염둥이는 정말 귀엽습니다, which means my darling is very cute. 똑똑한, smart. 똑똑한, smart. So let me give you 3 examples. 똑똑한, 톡톡한. Can you see the differences? For Korean, it sounds totally different between each other. So 똑똑한 has double 드 sound. So make sure that you read it correctly. You might need to practice a little bit more and say 똑똑한. You cannot say 똑똑한. You cannot say 톡톡한. You have to say 똑똑한. Don't worry if you cannot see the differences yet. You'll master that if you watch Korean pronunciation series. So you can say 내 동생은 매우 똑똑합니다, which means my younger brother is very smart. 맛있다, delicious. 맛있다, delicious. So It's okay because even some Korean people sometimes just by mistake say 맛있다, but actually the correct pronunciation is 맛있다. So you can say 너가 만든 음식은 정말 맛있다. The food that you made are so delicious. You can say 남대문 시장에 가면 맛있는 음식을 쉽게 먹을 수 있습니다. Which means when you go to 남대문 market, you can try delicious food easily. 사람, person. But it should be a little bit softer S sound and say 사람, 사람. So it shouldn't be 사람. So with the word you can say 사람이 많은 곳에는 가고 싶지 않습니다. Which means I don't want to go to a crowded place. So crowded place in Korean can be said 사람이 많은 곳, which literally means the place which has a lot of people. And this word can be plural, so you can simply say 저는 똑똑한 사람을 좋아합니다, which means I like smart people. 사랑, love. 사랑, love. The same thing, like you have to say 사랑 with a softer S, not 사랑. And make sure that you pronounce 응 sound correctly. 사랑, not 사랑, 사람, or something else. 사랑, 사랑. So you can say 저는 사랑하는 사람이 생겼습니다, which means I recently got someone whom I love. And also you can say 사랑하는 사람을 저는 귀염둥이라고 부릅니다, which means I call the someone whom I love as 귀염둥이. 일요일, Sunday. 일요일, Sunday. When the word has the same syllable at the beginning and at the end at the same time, it's not easy to pronounce. For example, 일요일, 일요일. If you read it syllable by syllable, you can say 일요일. But when you say it as a one word, you have to connect it together and say 일요일. So you can say 일요일에 경찰청에 갔습니다. On Sunday, I went to a police department. Or 일요일에 과일을 사러 슈퍼마켓에 갔습니다, which means on Sunday I went to a supermarket to buy fruits. 철창살, grill bar. 철창살, grill bar. Okay, that would be the hardest word that I also feel like it's not easy for me to pronounce. So 철창살, it also has two CH sounds, so it should be not easy to pronounce. And especially this word, we use the same long phrase to practice it with the 경찰청. So let me try that again. 경찰청 철창살은 왜 철창살이냐, 쌍철찰상이냐. And also we have another way with these words. For example, 중앙철 창살은 쌍철살이고 시청의 창살은 외철살이다. But you know, I cannot also read it correctly. This is that much hard. So if you want to find the good tongue twister in Korean, this is the word that you can pick. Okay, that's all top 10 hardest words to pronounce. Thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure to subscribe. I will see you next time. 다음 시간에 뵙겠습니다. 안녕히 계세요. Hi everyone, I'm Jae-hui. In this video, you will see top 15 questions you should know. Okay, let's look at the questions. 몇 살이세요? How old are you? So it's very common to ask someone's age in Korea, so don't be surprised if someone whom you just met for the first time asks you this question. 몇 살이세요? 몇 살이세요? 20살이요. So you can basically say number and say 살이에요. 20살이에요. 30살이에요. And if you don't want to answer the question, you can say 몰라도 돼요. It's okay if you don't know. 뭐라고 했어요? What did you say? There are two cases. Let's see the first one. 그런데요, 뭐 했어요? 계세요. 뭐라고 했어요? You didn't understand what the other people say, so you can just simply say 뭐라고 했어요? To ask what did you say? But there's another case. Let's see. 옷이 그게 뭐예요? 별로 예쁘지도 않고. 뭐라고 했어요? This case, you know, someone was talking something bad about you, so you're upset, and you can say, what did you say? 뭐라고 했어요? To, you know, start your fight. 생일이 언제예요? When is your birthday? So it's also common to ask someone's birthday, and Korean people are very good at remembering someone's birthday and celebrating for them. For example, 생일이 언제예요? 5월 3일이에요. Sometimes people will say 음력 5월 3일이에요. 음력 means lunar calendar because some people have the birthday in the lunar calendar, not the solar calendar. In this case, their date of birthday will be changed every year. 어디 출신이세요? Where are you from? So in that case, if you're from the US, you can say 미국 출신이에요. Or you can just simply say 미국 사람이에요. I'm American. Or 프랑스 사람이에요. I'm French. 어디 출신이에요? 미국 출신이에요. Or something like that. 어디에 사십니까? Where do you live? So if someone asks you 어디에 사십니까? 신촌에 살아요. So they said like where do you live? And the other said I live in 신촌. So you can simply say 에 살아요. 신촌에 살아요. 홍대에 살아요. To say that you live in the specific area. I love where I used to live, which is 서대문, the center of the city. 어디에서 일해요? Where do you work? Even though you met someone for the first time, you might be asked, 어디에서 일해요? 무슨 회사에서 일해요? Where do you work? Which company do you work? And sometimes, plus, you might hear, 연봉이 얼마예요? What is your annual salary? How much do you make for every year? Or something like that. So be ready for that. 어떻게 지내세요? How are you? So if you haven't seen someone for a long time, you can ask something like, 어떻게 지내세요? How are you? Usually the common answers will be, 잘 지내요. I'm doing well. 그냥요. So. Or if you want to be really honest, you can say, 잘 못 지내요. I'm not doing well. 이거 뭐예요? What's this? I might just ask you, 이게 뭐예요? Like when I'm invited to a dinner, then if I see someone that I haven't tried yet in my life, then I can just simply say, 이거 뭐예요? What's this? And you can just simply say, 이거 something이에요. Like 이거 이탈리아 음식이에요. This is Italian food or something like that. What's this? 이게 뭐예요? 이게 뭐예요? What do you think it is? 이게 뭐예요? 이름이 뭐예요? What's your name? You can simply just give your full name or just first name if someone asks you 이름이 뭐예요? What's your name? For example, if someone asks me 이름이 뭐예요? Then I'll say 이재희입니다, using my full name. So it's kind of sounding rude if you just give your first name only actually, but if you have the name in English or name in non-Korean words, I think that's okay to also give you only the first name because it's easier to remember. 전화번호가 뭐예요? What's your phone number? That might be a little bit more personal question. We might ask someone's ID of some messenger program like KakaoTalk or Line, but we usually don't ask someone's telephone number. But if you are asked because for official purpose or something like that, then you can just give the, number with the area code. 전화번호가 뭐예요? 02-3552입니다. So usually Korean numbers have 2 or 3 digits and 4. And you can just make some pause between 02-1234-5678. Make sure you make the pause so that they can get it easily. 한국 음식을 좋아합니까? Do you like Korean food? Yeah, that would be one of the common questions that you hear if you're not Korean. For sure, you have to say, 네, 좋아합니다. Yes, I like it. Even though you don't like some part of, you don't like spicy ones. In general, I recommend you to say, 네, 좋아합니다. I like it. But if you want to be real honest, you can say, 별로요. It's also. Or, 아니요, 별로 안 좋아합니다. No, I don't like it. 한국어를 공부한 지 얼마나 됐어요? How long have you been studying Korean? So in that case, you can just give how many months, how many years you've been studying Korean. For example, if it is for 1 year, you can say 1년이요, 3 years, 3년이요. Or if you just started, you can say 얼마 안 됐어요. It has not been that long. Or 최근이요, recently. So let me ask you, 한국어를 공부한 지 얼마나 됐어요? 힘내세요. 한국어를 어디서 배웠습니까? Where did you learn Korean? If you get this question, that means that your Korean is very good. When people are very impressed your Korean, they will just ask you where you learn it. 한국어를 어디서 배웠습니까? So you can just give the answer. For example, 어학원에서 배웠어요. I learned it from a language school. 어학원 is the word for a language school. Or you can say 혼자서 배웠어요. I studied alone. So let me ask you the question. 한국어를 어디서 배웠어요? koreanclass101.com이요? 감사합니다. 한국에 가본 적이 있습니까? Have you been to South Korea? So if you're not living in Seoul, but if someone thought that like you're very interested in Korean culture and language, they will ask you this question. 한국에 가본 적이 있습니까? Have you been to South Korea? If you have, you can say 네, 있습니다. Yes, I have. Or you can say 아니요, 없습니다. No, I haven't. 화장실은 어디에 있습니까? Where's the bathroom? So 화장실 is the word meaning bathroom. So you can actually ask anything with this question pattern. For example, 슈퍼마켓은 어디에 있습니까? Where's the supermarket? And 지하철은 어디에 있습니까? Meaning where's the subway station? Okay, that's all top 15 questions you should know in Korean. I hope you like it. Make sure to subscribe. I'll see you next time. 다음 시간에 뵙겠습니다. 안녕히 계세요. Hi everyone, I'm Jae-hui. In this video, we'll be talking about 10 lines you need for introducing yourself. Let's begin. 제 이름은 민준입니다. My name is 민준. So like this way you can say 제 이름은, my name is, your name, 입니다, to be. My name is Jae-hui, so I can say 제 이름은 재휘입니다. Or with my family name, I can say 제 이름은 이재휘입니다. So when you introduce yourself in Korean, make sure you say family name first and then your first name. 서울에 살고 있습니다. I live in Seoul. So you can put any city's name. For example, if you're living in New York City, you can say 뉴욕시에 살고 있습니다. I live in New York City. 27살입니다. I'm 27 years old. The basic way to say 27 is 27. But when you talk about your age, for example, 27 years old, you have to use native Korean numbers like in 27살, 27 years old, not 27살. Let me pick up some numbers. For example, if you're 30-year-old, you can say 저는 30살입니다. If you are 20 years old, you can say 저는 20살입니다. 한국 사람입니다. I'm from South Korea. 한국 사람입니다. I'm from South Korea, or I am South Korean. So just put your country's name instead of 한국 in this sentence. For example, if you are Chinese, you can say 중국 사람입니다. If you are American, you can say 미국 사람입니다. 중국 means China and 미국 means America. And here you have 사람 means person. So it literally means I'm a person of Korea. I'm a person of China. 교사입니다. I'm a teacher. For example, if you're a teacher, you can say 교사입니다. Or in some way, you can also say 선생님입니다. I'm a teacher. If you are a student, you can say 학생입니다. I'm a student. 독서는 제 취미 중 하나입니다. One of my hobbies is reading. If you like drawing, you can say 그리기는 제 취미 중 하나입니다. Or just to make it simple, you can say 그리기는 제 취미입니다. Which means that my hobby is drawing. 음악 감상을 즐깁니다. I enjoy listening to music. 음악 감상 means listening to music or music listening literally. So you can just put something else. For me, I can say 여행을 즐깁니다. I enjoy traveling. 한국어를 1년째 공부하고 있습니다. I've been learning Korean for 1 year. So if you speak Korean to Korean people in Korea, they will be surprised. I'll be surprised if someone just suddenly talk to me in Korean. Then you get asked, 한국어 얼마나 공부했어요? How long have you studied Korean? And if you just started studying Korean, you can say 한국어를 한 달째 공부하고 있습니다. I've been studying Korean for 1 month. 안녕하세요. 만나서 반갑습니다. Hello, it's nice to meet you. In general, like if you meet someone, before you talk about your name or after you talk about a name, you can say 안녕하세요. 만나서 반갑습니다. Hello, it's nice to meet you. Or if you know the other person is younger than you, or you just want to be a little bit more casual, you can say 안녕 만나서 반가워. koreanclass101.com에서 한국어를 배우고 있습니다. I'm studying Korean at koreanclass101.com. So people ask you where you learn Korean from, and you can proudly say that koreanclass101.com에서 한국어를 배우고 있습니다. Or if you're learning Korean at a language school, you can say that 어학원에서 한국어를 배우고 있습니다. I'm learning Korean at a language school. Okay, that's all 10 lines you need for introducing yourself. Leave some comments and introduce yourself using one of the expressions that we introduced in this video. Make sure to subscribe and I'll see you next time. 다음 시간에 뵙겠습니다. 안녕히 계세요. Hi everyone, I'm Jae-hui. In this video, we'll be talking about 10 phrases you always want to hear. Okay, let's see what we have. 네가 이겼어. You win. So, if you play sports and you win, then the other will say 네가 이겼어. You win. So if you like this phrase, you might not want to hear the phrase 네가 졌어. You lose. 너한테 줄 특별한 게 있어. I brought you something special. So here we have the phrase 특별한 게, which means special thing. When you have a special gift, you can say 너한테 줄 특별한 게 있어. 네가 맞았어. You were right. You know, when you talk about if something is right, if something is wrong, finally, if the other person found out that you're right, you just hear 네가 맞았어. 너가 맞았어. If you want to say that I'm right, you can say that 내가 맞아. I'm right. 보고 싶어요. I miss you. Or casually you can say 보고 싶어. I want to see you or I miss you. If you want to see someone's face again, you can send a text message saying 보고 싶어요. I miss you. 보고 싶어요. 보고 싶어요. 보고 싶어. 보고 싶어. 쉬세요. 오늘은 제가 청소할게요. Take a break. I'll do the cleaning today. Using the same pattern, you can hear something like 오늘은 설거지 내가 할게요, which means I'll do the dishwashing today. Like 예산은 무제한입니다. The budget is unlimited. So I'll be happy if I go to the company gathering and I hear something like 예산은 무제한입니다. Like there's no limit to the budget. But usually we use something more likely 돈은 걱정하지 마세요. Don't worry about the money. 오늘 멋지세요. You look great today. For women, you can also say 오늘 아름다우세요. Today you look beautiful. Yeah, it would be great if someone tell me about that. Like, how do I look today? So for example, you go to work and you see your senior looks tired, sleepy a little bit. Then you can just say, 아, 오늘 멋지세요. And your senior will be like, 아, 정말? 아, 오늘 멋있는데. Like, the same thing replying back to you. 요리를 참 잘하시네요. You are an excellent cook. I want to hear that I recently started cooking. I started enjoying it. So my goal is to hear this phrase. 요리를 참 잘하시네요. So, like if someone is good at something, you can use the same pattern to talk about it. For example, 빨래를 잘하시네요. You are good at laundry. 아기 돌보기를 참 잘하시네요. You are good at taking care of a baby, or something like you are an excellent babysitter. Yeah, actually, I'm really good at taking care of babies. 성격이 참 좋으시네요. You have a good personality. Yeah, I think this is the most popular phrase that Korean people want to hear, because we all want to be a good person. And if someone says 성격이 참 좋으시네요, that means that we made it. If someone tell me something like 성격이 참 좋으시네요, I'll be very happy to hear that. 잘했어요. You did a great job. Yeah, actually, when you work at a company, I think this is the phrase that you want to hear from your boss or supervisor. 잘했어. 잘했어요. You did a great job. After you watch this video, make sure you leave a comment so that I can say 잘했어요 to you. It's kind of blackmailing. You do this. Okay, that's all top 10 phrases you always want to hear. I hope you like some of the phrases that we introduced in this video. Make sure to subscribe and I'll see you in the next video. 다음 시간에 뵙겠습니다. 안녕히 계세요. Hi everyone, I'm Jae-hui. In this video, we'll be talking about top phrases you never want to hear. Alright, let's see what we have. 나 오늘 너 줄 돈 없는데? I don't have your money today. Yeah, I often hear this phrase, which I really never want to hear again because I usually lend money and the other person sometimes say that 나 오늘 너 줄 돈 없는데? Like, I don't have money for you today or I don't have your money today. Feels terrible. I don't want to hear that again. 너 때문이 아니야. 내 탓이야. It's not you, it's me. So I think this is the one that I don't want to hear because, like not only about the love, also like something about the work, like you work and someone made a mistake, and if someone says 제 탓이에요, like it's my fault, you don't want to hear that like it's someone's fault. You want to know that like how that happened. 너 요새 살쪘어? Have you gained weight recently? Yeah, so 요새 means recently, 살 means it means skin, but it also means some fat under your skin. 찌다 means to gain. Unfortunately, this is the common expression that we use. So if you started having Korean friends, don't be surprised if you hear this phrase. 너 요새 살쪘어? Have you gained weight recently? But if you don't like this kind of phrase, you can just say that 그런 말 하지 마세요. Don't say something like that. And then other people understand you don't like this kind of phrase. 너 흰머리 있어. You have a gray hair. In Korean, we say 흰머리, which literally means white hair. So it literally means you have a white hair, which is... I don't mind to show my gray hair, but it seems like many Korean people want to look younger. So this phrase is kind of the notice to the other person saying you have to do something because you don't look young. If my friends hear this kind of phrase, 너 흰머리 있어, you have gray hair, I think they might dye their hair. But I don't care. But I don't want to hear that. 당신 해고야. You're fired. Even though it's not easy to fire someone under the Korean labor law, I think many people, especially in 40s or like 50s, they have some fear to hear this kind of phrase because they have a family to support. And if they hear 당신 해고야, that is terrible because like still in Korea, it's not easy to move to another job if they are in 40s or 50s, even though they have a lot of good careers. So that means that you might not be able to get a job for a while. 말했잖아. I told you so. So like if I have to use this phrase, I might be like 말했잖아. 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 Like, raising my tones over and over. Parents should be saying something like that. 말했잖아. 보내주신 이력서는 잘 받았습니다. 하지만 지원하신 자리는 이미 충원되었습니다. Thank you for your resume. However, the position has been filled. Yeah, it's not easy to get a job in Korea, like even after they just get graduated from the college. So I think many people hear this kind of phrase. And the bad thing is that like there are a lot of pressure from the society, from their family about getting a new job. And when they get an email from the company about the result of the interview, there are only 2 sentences like that. Like, I'm sorry, there's no position for you. Like, 보내신 이력서는 잘 받았습니다. 하지만 지원하신 자리는 이미 충원되었습니다. 우리 이제 각자 다른 사람을 찾아보는 게 어떨까? We should see other people. Common way to say, let's break up. It's kind of suggestion, so you can say no, but you cannot say no. Another common phrase is something like 우리 각자의 갈 길을 가자, which means let's follow our one path for each. Like, my path is here, your path is there. We don't share the same path from now on. 우리 얘기 좀 하자. We need to talk. At a company, I don't want to hear that because like if someone says 우리 얘기 좀 하자, that means that there should be something bad. 나이 들어 보여. You look older than your actual age. When I was in middle school or high school, I heard this phrase a lot. But these days, I hear something opposite, saying something like 나이보다 젊어 보여. You look younger than your actual age. Okay, that's all 10 phrases you never want to hear. Make sure to subscribe, then I'll see you in the next video. 다음 시간에 뵙겠습니다. 안녕히 계세요. 오.
Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Korean ebook before it's gone.